Good morning, viewers, and welcome to a very interesting show on our NK's conversations. Now, these conversations we are having with a wide range of people from all walks of life, from the young, the very young, the teenagers, and the adults. But the purpose is to ensure that information reaches all our viewers, information of different kinds, so that you can make your own decisions. And some of you would have made some decisions in life, especially when you wanted to get married, when you wanted to have an event like a birthday party. Maybe you wanted to launch a soap like a corporate company does. And for that, you have to remember the old maxim, the old phantom saying. The saying goes like this: if you fail to plan, it's planning to fail. And for that purpose, we have what are called nowadays event planners. They're very meticulous and they plan very professionally. They go into minute details and ensure that whatever you want to do or whatever event you want to have is absolutely spot on. And today on the show with me is one of the most famous event planners in Mangaluru, Sanchia the planner. She's actually called Sanchia the planner. Her name is Sanchia Nazareth. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. But she's called and she's known as Sanchia the planner. And there is a reason for that. And I want to ask her the reason as to why she chose this particular profession, planning events. Sanchia?
Yes, Brian. So thank you for having me, first of all. The thing with my name is that I wanted to give it my own identity. And when it comes as Sancha the planner, she has something to do with planning. How I came up with Sancha the planner. It was very spontaneous, but I'm very happy that I made that decision.
Okay, but what prompted you to make that decision? To be
So
a planner?
event coordination is something that I came across around 7, 8 years back. My background is actually microbiology, which didn't really work out. So my motto in life is never to give up. So I tried to move on in a few other professions. I tried a little bit of editing and stuff like that. I came across events and I decided to get into that. But I had this feeling always that I should do something of my own. And some of my friends helped me and they supported me during this time and they pushed me towards it. So one of my friend came up and she said, I want you to plan my wedding. And that's how I started in October 2016 with the event coordination. And I also made the decision to move back to Mangalore because um, event planning is something different. I don't think anybody uh, there's it's a very niche concept where we do everything for you. We do decoration, we arrange accommodation, transportation, and we do events of every kind, even if it's like a small lunch or a dinner party. And people are really busy. We help them coordinate and we bring things together. And you right now with the situation across the world, we can do everything digitally. So we don't even have to meet clients, and we'll get everything organized for you via the digital platform.
But my question to you now is it's COVID-19 time and we are in lockdown, and April, May is the season for events. So, what does an event planner do when there are no events? That is my question to you.
So when we started out, it was a little tough for all of us to make the decision because some of us had already events lined up. Uh, our clients also were pretty disappointed, and everyone was confused as to when, because it started out in March, and we're like, no, by May it will work out, not a problem. People can travel maybe, and but I think towards May and March end we realized that it was not going to happen. So there was that confusion and depression state for around a week or so because none of us knew what was happening. And that's when Instagram lives, Facebook lives, and webinars across the world came up, and we started attending it. And we are so lucky that we have this quite a lot across the world. This is that everyone was giving free advice. These are people whom you could not get through or anything without any influence or a certain amount of money. So getting free advice from such people was extremely useful. And that's when different ideas started popping up. Things like, how can we do contactless events once things get a little relaxed? And we also started supporting each other in terms of being relevant. Even if we don't have work, we want to be in the eyes of people once things get relaxed. So people should know that there is a Sanchia the planner, or there is a makeup artist by the name of so and so, and photographers and so on. So what we are doing right now is supporting each other, sharing each other's work on social media, because that's all we can do now. And we have a couple of ideas lined up as well, which we can discuss a little later.
Some of the events you had planned for, right? When this COVID-19 happened. Now, how did you resolve all the related issues? Now, you would have booked a venue, you would have maybe made some payments, maybe booked a caterer, maybe lined up some decorations, and so on and so forth. You would also lined up some personalities to MC the show, and some musicians to liven up the show. So, how did you resolve these issues where things were already in place?
The main thing that always comes up is the refunds and the funding. So we have a clear set of rules, written contracts and emails that say that the first advance is always non-refundable, because if it's whatever be the case, this is our salary, this is what we work for, and we have to pay staff, we have to pay our vendors and so on. So I've spoken to a couple of venues as well. I've spoken to a couple of other photographers, makeup artists, and so on. We have definitely shared, refunded back some of the amount. Now, most of the venues in Mangalore city and around are very accommodating. They have, most of them have refunded 100%, because they understand the corona situation or the pandemic is not anyone's fault. um, there's another aspect to this, which is postponing it. So they can keep the money as a advance given to certain venues or a caterer or something like that, and they can host their function anytime the pandemic, the lockdown is relaxed, maybe in December or in January and so on. So most clients have been very accommodating in that way, as well as the vendors have been accommodating that way, because right now all we can do is talk and understand each other, because we still don't know what's going to happen. So let's give it at least a year is what we are all, just hoping for. But in the meantime, we'll start planning more.
Okay, just now in the lighter vein, by any chance were you contacted by the virus to handle that event? The virus coming into India and all that?
I wish maybe that we would have handled it a little better.
That's a good comeback.
Yeah.
Okay, now with time on your hands,
Yeah.
uh, since there are no events and you're not always on your feet and on your toes, uh, are you imagining new ways of creating events that people can participate in, maybe from the comfort of their homes or maybe with social distancing?
Yes, that's an extremely good question, Brian. And if it came to me last month, I would say I have no clue what's happening. But thanks to the Instagram Live, seriously, and a couple of webinars, um, we have now come up with different concepts, which we will have absolutely contactless with the clients. So if you're having, for example, a birthday party anywhere across the world, for that matter. We just did one in Bombay actually last week, where we coordinated a 10-year-old's birthday party. We helped her mom bake a cake, and she had her grandparents along with her, and her aunt is in Hong Kong, her grand aunts are in UK, US, Canada. So we have multiple locations. So this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to host an event and your relatives or your best friends can't come over. We can definitely organize it on, like, say, a Facebook Live or a Zoom call or something like that. Now during the whole, it lasted around an hour and a half or two, and we had super fun. We had pre-done a video for her, and she was really surprised about that bit. We all had a glass of juice to cheers her, cheer her into a double digit. So and so on. And we played games, we played dum charades, we played go fetch, and it was a really different experience for all of us, and we loved it. This is all Instagram lives, and if you want to do something like that, that can be done. The second option, what we are doing in Mangalore especially right now, is a party in a box concept. So if it's a birthday party or an anniversary, or you just want to surprise somebody, we'll give you certain set of decor, like say balloons or some bunting or some congratulations type of signboards, some photo props, cakes can be organized, snacks, everything will be delivered to your doorstep, and you can set up your homes with our help. I mean, we don't have to be there, we'll just tell you how to do it. The third option is, we can, if you want to host a small birthday party, and maybe say call your best friends and cousins, now that some of part of the lockdown is relaxed, you can do it maybe in your terrace or in your lawns or in a backyard, where we will come and do the setup prior, with as much contactless as with the from the client as possible. And you can go ahead and have a small party of your own. We can do it there even for a wedding. I actually saw this wedding happen in I think UK, that they set up the entire chapel with photographs, live photographs, or recent photographs of all the guests on the all the pews, and the father's walking the daughter down the aisle, and it was really beautiful. It's a beautiful concept, and it looks very vintage. So we can bring such concepts definitely to Mangalore, but we need to follow certain guidelines that have been given to us, which are keeping minimal guests as much as possible, sanitize the area, use sanitizers, use face masks, and we will definitely abide with whatever the rules our city is giving to us.
I just wonder how a virtual cake tastes like. And
So we're gonna that depends on your cooking ability because we are going to teach you all to bake. So it depends on that. But
okay.
we can also deliver. Some of the top bakers in the city are already functioning, and they themselves sometimes cannot go to the grocery stores. So we have delivery boys and girls who will, do this themselves. Now, in case delivery people are not available, sometimes I have taken the responsibility, because if you are an event planner, I think you should be able to do everything from sweeping and mopping to, you know, saying goodbye to the last guest and be presentable. So I've done deliveries myself last week in certain situations, because sometimes we don't want to put other people at risk. So it's just easier that way.
The other question that I wanted to ask, just in a lighter way, let's say you're having a virtual wedding and the guests are all online, and the bridal couple is definitely not online because they have to be together. And after they exchange their rings or exchange their vows, I'm sure they'll be wearing a mask. That's the guideline the government has given. I just saw it yesterday. So how did they handle their first kiss?
I don't know, but if I have to joke about it, I'll say both of you will have like a thermometer, or the priest is holding a thermometer in the temple or in a church, and then just like, okay, you may kiss the bride or hug the bride.
Okay. That was all in the lighter vein, but
Yeah.
it's time now for us to look at events in a very different way. And as time passes by, we hope that the situation will ease and we can get back to enjoying ourselves in a more friendly environment.
Yes.
Right now, it's more like a hostile environment. Even though you want to celebrate something, you got to keep your distance, and you got to be very conservative in however you do things.
Yes.
There's one other question that I wanted to ask you is now, a lot of events, they have this, they used to have music bands playing and DJs and stuff like that. So how do they celebrate events without music?
So it's concerts and live shows, stand-up comedians and everything. It's a really sad fact that we'll have to miss the feeling. It's like even with the movies now, movies are going to be released on streaming media like Prime and Netflix and so on. So that feeling of actually going to a concert and enjoying or listening to a live band is going to be very difficult. But after saying that, also I'm going to say that majority of our local DJs as well, and a couple of the musicians, they're already going on lives, and this is an opportunity for us to listen to them and listen to their talent. Every day they are working so hard to show us what they are up to. So if we have to also, some of us, if we can afford to, and if there is an entry fee, we should always be ready and say yes to that, because right now that is the only way we can support the entertainment industry. So maybe we cannot have big concerts and jumping up and down live, and that feeling may not be there for a while, but I think we can support each other in that way by recommending them, sharing them. Digital platform is extremely important, and things like this, I'm glad that News Karnataka is doing this, because you all are giving us an opportunity for, you all are making us visible. And through that, it's not only me, it's all the people I'm connected to, like photographers, makeup artists, bakers. We have a lot of local bakers, chocolatiers, restaurants in Mangalore that we are supporting right now through all these small gift hampers and events like Party in the Box.
Yeah, I think every drop makes an ocean. So
Yes, yes.
we are trying to do our bit. Event planning is not something that is widely known. I mean, amongst the youngsters, perhaps yes, it is known, and people who have got some event coming up in their family, they look for event planners. But in general, I think its limited visibility is a problem, and that was one of the conversations that I wanted to have, so that people understand what event planning is all about, and perhaps use them when it's necessary.
Yeah, so I'm going to say something, that being Indian and secondly being Mangalorean, we all have very good contacts. All of us are well connected and we have a very good network. If I was not an event planner, I could still plan up a birthday or a wedding with my range of network and my contacts. But the reason why you need to hire an event planner is one thing: stress free. You just have to sit down and everything's being done for you. You don't have that stress of, oh my god, is this going to happen, oh my god, is that going to happen. Everything is already coordinated and set up. Plus, one big advantage is budgets. Your budgets are going to go down because we have connects, and then we have a different price range. So supposing you go to a florist, they may give you one kind of price range, whereas we already have like a deal set up with certain florists locally, so they'll give us another range, and that will be given to you. And I'm speaking for myself, but I don't add any commissions from them, because these are their talents, and I do have my own costing depending on each event. But beyond that, I don't charge extra commissions and stuff like that, because that is their talent and their work.
Yeah, I think that's a very eye-opening statement from you, Sanchia, and I'm sure the viewers listening to this episode will now learn that there is something called event planning as a profession. And they will be in touch with you, I'm sure, because we have a lot of viewers and perhaps your friends also. So we have to help each other in these times of need, and that is one of the purposes of this conversation. But the main purpose is to pass on information to the public in general.
Yes.
Thank you, Sanchia. Thank you, Sanchia, for being on the show. It was a very enjoyable conversation, and I enjoyed it more than the information. I enjoyed the bonhomie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so thank you very much for being on the show, and we'll meet again sometime, somewhere. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
definitely.
Yeah.